Welcome back to another video. So these are the trails that are located in Jasmine Bushland, which is a bushland in Newcastle, which is located in New South Wales here in Australia. So recently the council has finally announced that they're going to be putting a highway through here, which will link the Jasmine roundabout and the John Hunter Hospital. This will cause many of these trails to be teared down and quite a lot of deforestation within this particular nature reserve. So they've already begun kind of removing lots of trees and signposting out where it's going to be put through. And unfortunately, many of the best trails, which I've been riding for over 10 years now in this particular bushland, and it's where I actually learned to ride mountain bikes, they're all going to be gone. So I'd highly recommend that everyone who has access to Jasmine Bushland goes out there and rides, as currently they've got some trail cameras up to see how much mountain bike and hiker activity they capture, and depending on the amount of activity that they do capture, they may actually choose to keep some of the trails, or at least allow bike access through a nature tunnel underneath the highway. And I have no doubt that the local riders will continue to build new trails, and I'm really hopeful that a couple of these better tracks in Jasmine will survive, as they're kind of where I grew up riding. So the track that I'm on just here was actually the downhill track, and this is one of the first tracks that I learned to ride on. When I started riding, I was never doing any of these jumps, and it's kind of been like the theme of progression, and that's kind of like the sentimental value that it has to a lot of riders in Newcastle, or at least that are local to it, and it'll be quite sad to see go. So I hope kind of everyone appreciates the trails that they have, and hopefully some of these will still be around. So another one of the good trails there is the flow trail, and this will 100% be affected by the construction of this new highway. And this trail here, you can just see how nicely it flows side to side, weaving its way down the hill. And I've done probably over 200 laps of it at this stage in total, and probably one of the top 10 trails I've ridden, even when compared to places like Dungog, Thredbo and Narimba. So here's one of the few trails that won't actually be affected. So this sits on the opposite side of the cycleway, and to my knowledge the highway won't affect the cycleway. So this trail here, as you can see, it's a lot more mellow, although it is still quite fun, but in saying that, it doesn't even have any kind of comparison to the trails up on the main ridge lines. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Also, make sure to go for a ride in the Jasmine Bushland so you can show the trail cameras how much we all love them.